Hey guys, call me Nil here, and today I'm going to be ranking the music from Plok and what I believe is the worst song up until we reach what I believe is the best song. I have a fun little number ranking out of 100 as well on the flashcard, so feel free to agree or disagree in the comment section below. To start us off with what I believe to truly be the absolute worst track in all of Plok, we have Cotton Eye. The actual melody itself isn't too bad, but then it changes the beat rather quickly into this weird amalgamation of what it probably should be, where to myself the bass just does not work with the drums or the melody. And while I enjoy the chaotic nature, a lot of Plok has that, I would not in any way be able to classify it as good music. It's just far too all over the place, even for a game like Plok. This one still holds the Plok style down quite well, but I dislike how the instrumentation was used. To myself, it's still a passable song, but it just again has way too much chaos in it, which I get, that's what Plok's all about. It's just not exactly my style. I will say though that doing all this through a tracker must have been an absolute pain in the ass for both Jeff and Tim Fallon. I would have liked to hear more melodic elements from the song, with the proper melody being used instead of mostly arpeggios and quick notes. Some held notes would have made it feel more at home in my opinion. But again, my opinion doesn't really matter. I'm just some random guy on the internet. There are some melodic bits in here, though, that, I do enjoy a little bit. The song really doesn't have much wrong with it, but it's way too happy for a flamethrower in my opinion. So it really doesn't fit the bill. Something more badass to go with flaming your enemies to death as they burn without mercy would have, in my opinion, worked a lot better. It is a kids game though, so I'm not really sure how well that would have gone across the board. It makes myself feel like I just won at Jeopardy, which I guess getting the flamethrower is the equivalent of, but it just doesn't really get the job done for myself personally. This one feels like Apescape mixed with Pokemon for myself. I bet some of you can imagine it now with, the chopped chords at some points in the heroic and uplifting style where you can just walk around town unfazed by Team Rocket or Spectre going at you in other locations and you're just kind of exploring. This I feel would have worked much better as music for a level, however, rather than being for a specific weapon in the rocket launcher when you pick it up. Because again, a rocket launcher, you gotta have something more badass. This one I enjoy because it feels like ragtime meets a circus, and a lot of Plok's music reminds myself of a chaotic circus or kind of a medieval fantasy land. It's one of the two usually. But this one gets that feeling right in my opinion. It's got a chaotic arc with a tuba playing the same notes like others. Yes, but it just works. I can't explain it, but it just works. Especially at the beginning, it's just chef's kiss. Up next is Plok's house, which feels more like a mystical fantasy forest. You just get to have a cool tune to listen to in the background as you enter Plok's residence, and you're able to have some spicy arpeggios to go with it too. And the synth choice here is much better than some of the earlier examples in my own personal opinion. It has melodic elements, which I really appreciate, and it will go down as one of the better SNES tracks in all of human history, despite being one of the earliest games on the system. But what else can you expect when you have Jeff and Tim Fallon on the project? Those two always gave it their all regardless of how much sanity it drags out of them. Map kind of reminds me of Plok's house mixed with some of the other tracks a little bit, but what really sets it apart for myself is the bass line. It's simple and it allows for melodies and arpeggios to really shine whilst keeping the oompa style bass. The synth reminds myself of a flute or a clarinet playing with an arpeggio being your usual synth for the times. And while it does get repetitious after a while, I don't really mind it too much personally because it's just a track that plays when you're between levels. So you likely won't be listening to it too long compared to the other tracks, even if you listen to this one more frequently. This track has some spooky elements to it, while still containing the Plok feel and melodic elements that make it sound like it belongs in medieval times as something you'd hear, a bard play on their own instruments. The bass line I'm not a big fan of, but it's also not too bad. It's more of a walking bass this time when the xylophone comes in and gets, really jazzy as fuck, which I just absolutely adore. It switches up how it sounds in a much better manner than the earlier tracks and sounds like it's telling an actual story just in and of itself, even without any gameplay being required in the background for it. That being said, playing the game would help bring up the fun factor. This one has nice drums to coexist with the track. The synth is pretty sweet too. Not a fan of the beginning melody, but as the song continues, I become more of a fan of it with the harmony in the background filling the space, where it should be. It also has a really nice drum breakdown before picking it back up with a nice chords to complement it by going with the beat and giving its own unique feel before going back down into a xylophone and turning into a medieval style music that you'd expect from Parts of Cavern. This one sounds more serious than a lot of other Plok tracks, which I really appreciate for the variety that it brings to the table as well. The running bass line with medieval synth is just yes. It's like SNES music combined with synthwave and again medieval to create this masterpiece before it switches up into that much happier variant of itself. The switches in the song again make it feel quite bouncy whilst also allowing for drop parts, which can become intense, giving the player a unique feeling from the other tracks as they play through the adventures of Plok going on a genocide because his flags got stolen. Remember, limbs will fly, and this song is just a calm before the storm. When it picks up again, it has nice arpeggios to accompany the melody that plays for the first 2 bars, maybe 4, because I'm not sure the BPM of this song. And the drums fade out as the song gets more intense, which I just personally fucking love. You then get it kicking with a jazzier feeling, which could make a grown man come to tears, as the bass picks up too. If you ever wanted to feel like you're in the Wild West, this is a song for you. It just immediately picks up after the intro and has you visualizing Plok on a horse with a gun just slinging down all of his opposition. And the whistle that, has that, I can't remember off the top of my head, you'll probably hear it in this, but the whistle is just a cherry on top. While this one is more repetitious than most in the soundtrack without any real switches, I still personally enjoy it and think you guys might as well. Flea Pit opens up with an ominous feeling of dread within itself, and then it just amplifies that feeling, making you feel like Thomas Carabin, the kitty diddler, is about to try and enter your asshole. I do enjoy the sound design of the song a lot though, and when it kicks off with the track itself and it slows down a little, lets you just know you're in the right spot. I don't really know enough music theory to talk about the song properly, I'm sorry, I don't know music theory, but do know it's one of the better Plok soundtracks with an old school eerie feeling to it and a marching drum beat before it picks up with heavy distorted snares and goes like full on Halloween territory. Following that, you get a nice neoclassical melody, and it's going into this kind of crunched drum pattern with delay and reverb on it, which I have no clue how they managed to do on a fucking SNES. But props to them for figuring that one out. Beach holds a special place in my heart for the beginning, reminding myself of Time Station from Ape Escape 3, and I wouldn't be surprised if Plok had some inspiration for that. Then the drums kick in and you get this nice smooth melody that makes you feel all joyful and happy inside, exactly as a beat should be before it breaks down into like this break beat, which is something that most games wouldn't incorporate for another 2 to 3 years after Plok's release, so that kind of makes this track a trailblazer in that regard. You also get jazzy instruments and chord progressions with a nice saxophone-ish instrument playing the melody as a riser comes in to let you know it's about to get that, sexy, smooth electric guitar sound that only Jeff and Tim could emulate in the early days of the SNES with manipulation of the square waves. You then get one of the most badass guitar solos with the drums. So I guess it's not a full solo, before the intro picks back up, but it has, and this time with an arpeggio accompanying it. All in all though, one of the absolute best tracks in Plok, and I recommend giving it a listen in your spare time. Boxing Glove just makes you feel like you're about to be in a Rocky movie. I don't know what to really say about it, so just sit back and listen to it for a little bit. Bonus level is like Cowboy, but on steroids. You have this Wild West bass line and you have quick xylophones mixed with some arpeggios as the track progresses. Not much melodic value with this one, which I usually look for in a track, but it has these electro swing values to it, which I just cannot get over. I might actually do a cover of the song one day as an electro swing track. If you guys be interested in that, let me know in the comments. This one I feel will be controversial, but my third favorite song from Plok is Shotgun. It just has so much to it, and it's just yes. Everything about the song is yes. It sounds a little goofy when it comes to the tuba, but I feel that makes it all the better when the xylophone comes in to give us the fast arpeggios. More of the drums being in that marching beat help it to stay rhythmically on time. Not sure what else to say because it's such a short track, but I just personally love this one. Now we get into my second favorite song in Plok, Boss, and it's the most repetitious one you'll find where it's essentially just a bass line after the intro. But the bass line is everything and anything anybody could ever have dreamed of. It starts off with this menacing laugh and theremin synth to give yourself like the spookiest vibe in the game yet, followed by just, oh, you already know. I actually enjoy the song so much I've done 3 covers of it in my time as a musician, and the blips going up as risers help it so much before you get to the pads added in the key switch to just keep things going and the track flowing properly. The drums sound phenomenal. On top of that, despite being more basic than a lot of the other tracks, sometimes simplicity is key. And eventually you'll get to this point where it's just a different bass pattern that goes up before you go back to the original key, and those blips just help it come back into play. And my favorite song in Plok is, you guessed it, because, well, it's kind of, the only one left, It's the title screen. Yes, the very first song you hear when you place Plok into your SNES is my all-time favorite Plok song. You have everything here. You have the harmonica, which you don't hear in any other track. You have the electric guitars, which are just so fucking smooth, especially for an SNES. You even have claps, which no other song has. Like, it's one of the most, if not the most unique track in all of Plok. The electric guitar in particular, playing the melody, is just music to my ears, and I can only imagine what Jeff and Tim, they would have come up with if not for the limitations of the SNES. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad that there were limitations, otherwise we would never have gotten this track or any of the music in Plok for that matter. One of the most iconic games to date for the system, if not just for the music, would have never been with us. And that's just a world that I don't want to live in. And the sad part is that this game didn't get recognition until like 20 years after it was released. So for like 20 years, these tracks were just unknown to the world. The harmonica is giving us jazzy blues feeling at the beginning, and it's just a perfect way to start off the track with the slightly swing-driven drums, followed by the guitar hitting us with that pure 80s melody, and the trumpets hitting us after that change of flow up yet again. It's just something that you don't see in game music anymore. It's all been sanitized and forced to be so repetitious that we often forget change can be good. Anyways, that's all for this video. It's my first time ranking music, so it probably wasn't that great, but I hope you guys can see where I'm coming from and why I ranked the music of Plok as I did. So until next time, have a great day, and check out the music of Plok whenever you get the time to do so. Peace.